Start, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Bhavatam Swapata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Adiyam Sastaya Bhadraya Vidaloke Sahutapam Nashtaprayeshu Bhaktreshu Nitya Bhagavate Shloke Bhakti Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, Sambam talking about Sri Krishna, the Supreme Shankar, and his pastimes. This is 10th canto, chapter 10, verse 9 today. So, this chapter is titled Deliverance of Yamala Arjuna 3. Anyante Peshavo Yatra Anyante Peshavo Yatra Nirdaya Ajitatvabi Nirdaya Ajitatvabi Manyamane Imam Deham Manyamane Imam Deham Ajara Mrityu Nashwaram Ajara Mrityu Nashwaram Anyante Pashvo Yatra Nirdaya Ajitatvabi Manyamane Imam Deham Ajara Mrityu Nashwaram. Synonyms. Anyante are killed in many ways, especially by slaughterhouses. Pashava, four-legged animals, horses, sheep, cows, hogs, etc. Yatra, wherein Nirdaye, by those merciless persons who are conducted by the mode of passion. Jit Atmabhi, rascals who are unable to control the senses. Manyamane are thinking. Imam, this, Deham, body. Ajara will never become old or diseased. Amrityu, death will never come. Nashwaram, although the body is destined to be annihilated. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Unable to control their senses, rascals who are falsely proud of their riches or their birth in aristocratic families are so cruel that to maintain their perishable bodies, which they think will never grow old or die, they kill poor animals without mercy. Sometimes they kill animals merely to enjoy an excursion. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When the modes of passion and ignorance increase in human society, giving rise to unnecessary economic development, the result is that people become involved with wine, women, and gambling. Then, being mad, they maintain big slaughterhouses or occasionally go on pleasure excursions to kill animals, forgetting that however one may try to maintain the body is subject to birth, death, old age, and disease. Such foolish rascals engage in sinful activities one after another. Being dushkritis, they completely forget the existence of the supreme controller who is sitting within the core of everyone's heart. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshe Arjuna Tishtati. That supreme controller is observing every bit of one's activity, and he awards or punishes everyone by giving one a suitable body made by material nature. Ramayan Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rurani Mayaya. In this way, Sinful persons automatically receive punishment in different types of bodies. The root cause of this punishment is that when one unnecessarily accumulates wealth, one becomes more and more degraded, not knowing that his wealth will be finished with his next birth. न साधु मन्ये यथा यत आत्मनोयम सन अपि क्लेशद asadeha. Bhagavatam, the fifth canto, fifth chapter, verse 4. Animal killing is prohibited. Every living being, of course, has to eat something. Jeev jeevasya jeevanam. But one should be taught what kind of food one should take. Therefore, the Ishopanishad instructs, Tena tyaktena vanjita. One should eat whatever is allotted for human beings. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 26. Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhaktaya prayachati paritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, food, or water, I will accept it. And a devotee therefore does not eat anything that would require slaughterhouses or poor animals. Rather, devotees take prasad of Krishna. Tena tyaktena bhunjitaha. Krishna recommends that one give him patram pushpam palam toyam, leaf, a flower, fruit, or water. Animal food is never recommended for human beings. Instead, a human being is recommended to take prasad, remnants of food left by Krishna. Yajna sista sina santo uchyante sarva kilbishay. Bhagavad Gita 3:13. If one practices eating prasad, even if there is some little sinful activity involved, one becomes free from the results of sinful acts. End of purpose. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnanajnane Chakshurvilitamye Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayin Dati Swapadatikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Radhanatam Vitam Sajivam Advaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sargana Kalika Shri Vishnapatam Shri Vam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Vedanta Samanite Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Shri Vadi Paschata Desha Tarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram. So, we are in this chapter that describes the deliverance of the Yamala Arjuna trees. Yamala Arjuna trees, as we discussed yesterday, they are basically the two sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nakulavara. Nakulavara. So they are being cursed by Narada Muni. And as a result, they attained the bodies of trees because they behaved like that when Narada Muni was passing through in the evening. And they shamelessly ignored him and in a inebriated way, they rather insulted him. So the system of our Varnashrama Dharma and our religious scriptures and our understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because we do understand that Supreme Personality, Prabhupada has emphasized everything in Supreme Personality. Personality means a person who is supreme of Godhead, supreme person. So the most, supreme most. And that person has a name, and the name is Krishna. Krishna, the all attractive. So there is the Supreme Personality, and then there are his expansions. Balaram, then Pradyumna, Niruddha, Sankarshana, then the Chaturvyuha, like the secondary this thing, Sankarshan, then Pradyumna, Niruddha, Vasudeva, and then from Sankarshana comes again the three Purushas, the Karanodakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Jirodakashayi Vishnu, and from the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu's navel, a lotus sprouts, and on which Lord Brahma is seated, thereby he comes from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. So then there is the, understanding of Tattva. Tattva means the absolute. The absolute is none other than the supreme. Within the Tattva, we have Vishnu Tattva that are all in the category of God. Vishnu Tattva. And then there is Jiva Tattva. Starting from Brahma down to the smallest living entity, like ant or like even the germs. They are all Jiva Tattvas. We are also Jiva Tattva. So Vishnu Tattvas, they descend of their own free will. Jiva Tattvas are born of their parents. Even though the process is the same, we also descend. We take birth. Or rather, we appear itself. We also descend. However, we are Nitya Baddha. We are eternally bound by our karma. Then there is this process of karma is so subtle, and the modes of material nature, they act in such a subtle way that a person conducting himself in the material world, no matter what he does, these are governed by the three modes of material nature: the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and then there are resultant reactions. You are conducting an action, then there is a reaction. So the goal for human society, human beings, is to elevate oneself with the character and understanding of the scriptures in such a way that one is able to transcend the modes of material nature and situate oneself in Vishuddha Sattva. So mode of goodness, which is uh, pure, pure mode of goodness. Here we see that human beings, being puffed up by their so-called birth or their riches, particularly is very visible in the Western world. It is everywhere, actually, not only the Western world, the whole throughout the world. There is not a place that is without a slaughterhouse. I don't know if there is any country that is totally vegetarian and do not have a slaughterhouse, whether small or big. Organized killing, systematic killing of animals take place all throughout the world. Not understanding that, the reactions that one has to face. Because this life, this soul is eternal. It has a journey from time immemorial and it will continue unrestrictedly throughout because there is no end, no beginning, no end. That's what is the meaning of Shashtra. It only changes its form when it is given the body, um, because we are bandha, so we keep traveling from one body to the other. When we are old, this life cycle, you know, when we are old, we die, and then we take rebirth. And the whole practice of spirituality, as delineated by Srila Prabhupada and all the previous acharyas and all the saintly people within our district succession as well as district sessions of others, those who are Vaishnavas or Brahmanas or Hindus, generally speaking, they are given these tools, the spiritual Vedic knowledge by which one can stop the process of birth, death, old age, and disease and attain its own original constitutional position, that is spiritual body, and go back home to eternally associate with the Supreme Lord and serve the Supreme Lord, thereby become eternally happy. Uh, can this be achieved in this lifetime? Yes. Yes, we have to tune in ourselves to the understanding of Krishna, service of Krishna. Sometimes people get confused in defining what is service. Service, like there are material ways of understanding and there are spiritual ways of understanding. One cannot understand who are on material platform from a very very long time how simply by reciting the holy names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One is doing some kind of a service. So, service, when it is spiritual, has to be a loving service. Loving service becomes devotion. Because when there is Lord, when there is a devotee, and then there is an exchange. And the exchange is about love. Exchange is of love. So a devotee within his heart carries that love for the Lord and thereby keeps crying that, oh my God, where am I? Why have I fallen into this miserable condition of life? So he makes a plea. Hare Krishna, please, please, please pick me up. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patita Mam Vishame Bhavamadu. Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sthita Duli Sadrisham Vichintaya. I have, O Lord, I have fallen this requesting to the Lord Ananda Tanuj. Ananda Tanuj is Krishna. So I've fallen in this material world and I'm suffering the pangs of material misery. So kindly pick me up, O Krishna, kindly pick me up and place me just like a small, tiny speck of dust at your lotus feet. So that is perfection. That is humility. So with that kind of a thought, that kind of mindset, we call out to Krishna every moment in our life that our life is miserable. Like, no matter what, like, Krishna will also give you, if you're asking for some wealth or something, you may be granted all those things. However, is that something, as Prabhupada says in this purport, is that something that is going to be permanently with you? When we are asking for something, we should ask for going back home to the Lord. Once we have attained the the the, the association of the Lord, doesn't matter, like, it is not a physical association, but it is mental, spiritual association all the time in a clean heart. Then do we care for, like, anything else? Just like we have, if we have attained Krishna, then is there anything else remaining to be attained? Krishna may ask you, like, ask for any benediction or something. And what a wise person should ask? Just please, if you want to give me something, please just give me that I don't forget you even for a moment. Even for a moment. So this life itself, in this material body itself, like, we become spiritual. Whatever we say, then it is coming directly from Krishna. Because Krishna is a constant companion of the devotees. Krishna is purchased by the devotee and is with the devotee all the time, protecting him, guiding him from within as Chaita Guru, and from without, from outside as the spiritual master. So the surrender process, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishyami Ma Suchaha. So one should surrender. And there are degrees of surrender. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam sajamyaham. So as one surrender, the degree of surrender, sometimes we hold on to something, like, because we need something, right? We got to have food, we got to have. So our surrender is not complete. If we surrender completely, then Krishna takes charge. Krishna will provide you. Food will come automatically, your clothes will come automatically, your shelter will be arranged automatically. But we are very insecure. We don't surrender completely. So our surrender is partial. So we have to see that if we can depend more and more and more on the Lord, less and less and less on the material world, on ourselves. So that's how the society should be shaped. Not possible for for everybody to do it. That's why it is divided into Varna and Ashrama. 4 Varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras, and 4 Ashramas, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. So you can, sannyasi, when you attain that ashram, then you should not depend on anybody. So it's a gradual process, but there are some, since the age is unlimited, the soul is, eternal. So the some spirit souls in the bodily form may have done their homework in their previous life to like about 80% or 90%. And sometimes they come and they start from very young and they complete that remaining 20%. And sometimes we see that some saintly people, they die very early. So they have completed their homework and they are, going back home, back to the supreme abode of this Supreme Lord. So the goal should be set in such a way that we keep our life, our activities purified. Purified means at least try to be situated in the mode of goodness, if not pure goodness. Because the mixture is always going to be there. Goodness, passion, ignorance, that mixture is always going to be there. But the process given is to situate ourselves in the mode of goodness would be to eat food which is recommended for human consumption, sattvic food that can be offered and be consumed as prasad, remnants of food. That will give us the right intelligence to grow spiritually. And to be able to distinguish between right and wrong. And then a lot of times we know we are doing something wrong. There is something from within our heart tells us, voice of the soul. Very subtle. But then there is another loud voice within ourselves that is very loud. That is the voice of the mind. That's everything is okay. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Because mind wants to enjoy the senses, satisfy the senses, engage the senses in pleasure-seeking activity. But when the results comes, you are miserable, and then you realize that something told me that not to do that, and I still did not listen, and I listened to my mind that was very loud, and now I have created this karma, and now I have to face the consequences. So that's how the cycle goes on. The goal is to prepare ourselves for the final exam at the time of our passing from this, the time of passing from this world, our last. Even though it's very hard to comprehend, even at an advanced age, that when is my time going to come? But it can come any time, whether it is advanced or not. It can come any time. We don't have any control over it. So, but those who are engaged in the Ravana, the 9 kind of devotional activities. For them, there is no untimely death. You will not meet with untimely death. Because human life is given for achieving that perfection. That's the only loophole. For animals, they are in the bhoga yoni, and those human beings or who are also in the mode of bhoga, they are also no better than animals. Compassion and all those, because then sometimes they do it in the name only, rich people. But if they do not have the understanding, do not have the guidance of the spiritual master, do not have the guidance of the scriptures, the end result is not very pleasant. You have to rotate in this cycle of birth and death. 8.4 million species of life. And if by chance you are delegated or degraded from the human form of life to that of an animal or like even lower than that, then it's a long cycle. And we see here the 2 trees. They are sitting there for thousands of years. But in spiritual world, there is no time. But from material calculation, thousands of years is a long time. And the curse had that. The good thing, hidden, the blessing in disguise was that they will be delivered by Krishna. And they were particularly situated in the courtyard of, just outside the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya and Krishna. And when Yashoda Maya binds Krishna to the grinding mortar, he places the grinding mortar between the 2 trees and they fall apart. And thus the 2 souls were delivered. They regain their original spiritual body and go back to that. So our actions should be such that we should always be in a surrendered state of mind, depending ever more on Krishna for everything, and nicely, very nicely serving Krishna and his devotees. Always associate. Association is very, very important, because the moment you associate with materialistic people, you lose. Not lose, but you tend to. Just like it says, Krishna chhadiya jeev bhogvangsha kare, pasate maya tare, jhapotiya dhare. Leaving aside Krishna, when a jiva or like when human beings want to enjoy separate from Krishna, Maya standing next to him catches him. So, with a deliberate spiritual intelligence, we should uplift ourselves, our character, and that's why it is important to maintain devotee association, which is very, very potent and uplifting. But even though we associate, but a lot of times we understand, we get into the devotees also get into disagreements and all. Those things, one should be able to understand what is important. The important thing is Krishna and our relationship. So when they are talking about disagreements, one should try to understand that we must have an agreement in disagreement. So, and move forward without making an issue of ego that no, I am right and no, I am right. We need to set aside the differences for the higher goal. So that's what I could come up with for today's class about don't want to get into heinous acts of like describing a picture about slaughterhouses and other things, but reactions are are horrendous. So they are unimaginable. So one should take the shelter of the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and the holy name, and thereby deliver. Thank you very much for tuning in. If there are any questions or comments, please address them now. So you can. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you for the
What's
class.
your name, Prabhu?
Venkat.
Venkat.
So you were saying about the expansions from Krishna, Balram, and then Anirudh, Pradyumna, Shankarshan, all these expansion. So from Balram, ultimately we are getting Mahavishnu and then Garbhodaksha, Shirodaksha, Vishnu. So, but I mean, wife of Vishnu is Lakshmi Devi. So, is it like Balam himself expansion Vishnu wife is Lakshmi, but not Balram's? But Lakshmi is a brother of Balram, right? It's like so. But how can his expansion himself can be wife? Is that
Lakshmi is a generic term. So even just like so they are not. They are same and they are different. Okay, because in one sense, everything is an expansion from Krishna. So Krishna, when he married 16,100 princesses after killing Narakasura, he expanded himself into that many forms. So each one of them are Lakshmi for him, right? So these are expansions. So so Vishnu is also an expansion. Just like from one candle, you can light many candles. So they are the expansions of the original candle. So that original candle is Krishna. And then there are so many other candles which are having the same potency as Krishna.
yeah?
Okay?
The
So
wife of
it's
Vishnu
not
is
that
not.
wife of Vishnu is Lakshmi, but doesn't mean that she is the wife of Balaram.
Yeah, but
Because that individuality is there, because expansion has become an individual now. An individual has another individual as one's wife. Okay?
and then individual. If we see the individuality, then Krishna is separate from Vishnu, right?
Krishna is separate from Vishnu in the sense that Krishna is original person. From him, the expansions happen. And Krishna's personal expansion from Krishna is Radharani. Radharani cannot be with any other expansion other than Krishna himself. Krishna's expansion or the other form, pleasure potency is Radharani. Radharani cannot, Radharani cannot be, sent in as a wife or a Vishnu or Balaram or anybody, because Radharani is non-different from Krishna. Is the pleasure potency of Krishna. Or when Krishna desires to enjoy, that's why he from his own self spiritual body expansion, first expansion is Radha. Okay.
Got it.
So similarly, there are Lakshmi Devis. There are many Vishnus. There are in each universe there is a Garbhodakashayi Vishnu and Shirodakashayi Vishnu and Karanodakashayi Vishnu in each universe. But Krishna is one only. Okay.
Yeah.
In Brahma Samhita, these things are given in detail. If you read that Brahma Samhita, you will understand a little bit more.
Okay.
And do you have that book, Brahma Samhita?
Don't have. I will check in internet.
So check it on vedabase.com. You visit that. So there Brahma Samhita is there. So you can read the English or the other version, the other versions. So you will get a little bit more understanding. But the way to improve your understanding is to constantly deliberate on this issue of the question, the burning question that you have in your mind, in your heart. So, and then you try to relate back to the answers from Brahma Samhita, from other scriptures, and through your own speculative mind also, deliberating. Then you will start getting some clearance, some clarity on the issues that you're having. And from outside, your people like who you are interacting with, like myself or somebody else, they can throw some light. It's not that our understanding is perfect, but we are also on the same path as you. You may be uh, not too old, not too much. Some are like having a little more. Okay, they have gone through the same questions, and they're relating back to the same answers. Okay? But when you deliberate on this thing, you get some answer from within also, because Krishna as Chaita Guru is sitting within your heart. And from outside, it's your spiritual master. Krishna as spiritual master will guide you to the right direction, to the right answers.
Got it.
Okay?
Thank you, bro.
Clear?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other question from anybody?
Hare Krishna Babuji.
No question?
No question.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining in.